Hello, welcome to the Bill and Kelly Show, coming to you from Wildrose Brewery in Griffith, Indiana. With us today, first of all, Kelly is actually rehearsing on a play that she'll be in I think another month or so, the Cemetery Club, which should be pretty interesting. So, filling in for her is Michael Puente of WBEZ fame. And our special guest, of course, is Rahmany, right?
Yeah, that's right.
I got it. Awesome. He's with Vyto's Pharmacy, and he's the sports nutrition and dietary consultant there. And we've kind of invited him on today to kind of go over a topic I've been kind of anxious to talk about because, just recently, how many months ago did they legalize the sale of CBD oils?
It was the state of Indiana made it legally last year.
Okay.
So it varies by state by state.
All right. So the state of Indiana was legal in 2018.
Correct.
All right. That's probably what I was thinking. So, and with that, there's been a lot of rumors about what CBD oil is, and that's why we thought we'd invite Ash on and have us talk about that, and maybe dispel some of the rumors and get accurate information. So, Ash, why don't you go ahead and tell us, first of all, what CBD is and what its effect is on the body.
Yeah. So CBD, I want to go get to the very basics. A lot of people say CBD, but really don't even know what CBD is. And it basically, simply put, is a short abbreviation for a chemical compound, and it's called cannabidiol. So cannabidiol is a chemical compound, and if you kind of look at it, it's a bunch of hydrogen, carbons, and oxygens put in a certain sequence. Mm-hmm. And where do you get CBD from? It is derived from the aerial part of the hemp plant. Everybody's familiar with hemp, but the biggest misconception that I get here about CBD oil is that people confuse hemp with marijuana. And of course, even though they are two different species, they do come from the same parent plant called cannabis sativa. Now, within the cannabis family, there's cannabis sativa, there's cannabis indica, and there's cannabis ruderalis. Of course, most of the CBD is derived from the cannabis sativa plant because the concentration of CBD is mainly found in cannabis sativa.
So hemp is not marijuana.
Hemp is not marijuana, exactly.
And you can carry that legally?
The hemp?
Yeah.
Yes, you could. Now, they revised the Farm Bill of 2014. They revised it back in 2018, and now all 50 states are on board with it, where you can, where it's legal to sell and carry with you, so you don't have any legal worries about that.
But I mean, like, say that, so there's a lot of confusion with, adolescents, teenagers, parents. Let's say your kid comes home with a bag of hemp. I mean, are the police going to know the difference between hemp and marijuana?
Unfortunately, no, until they test it, because they look very similar. They smell very similar. But yeah, you still have to be careful. Yeah.
Yeah. So, if you're pulled over, they look the same.
They look the same.
And
they smell the same.
And they're not going to be able to do a test. Right. They don't have a test. So
exactly.
Yeah. But to boil it down, one of the things that has happened is the products that have come out of it. The oils, the capsules, and so on. So why don't you tell us about those and what the various different types are?
Before we get to that real quick, I want to mention too, yes, when you carry a bag of hemp with you, it's still illegal. The only way you can make hemp is in conjunction with the Department of Agriculture or a higher institution like a university. Otherwise, if you decided to, hey, I'm going to grow hemp in my backyard because it's legal, then you're going to get in big trouble.
Right. So the raw hemp is still legal.
Yeah.
So it's a processed hemp that is legal.
Exactly.
So, and that's where the controversy comes in, because people don't understand that cutover. They wonder, well, how come I could get it in stores now, but yet I can't carry it legal. But it's the processed hemp. So what type of products now are available?
Well, CBD oil, because since it became legal, I mean, there's probably 1,000 different manufacturers that make CBD, and yet even more places that sell CBD. You really don't need any specific licenses for that. So you will see CBD places pop up at like health food stores, vape shops, and they all sell different types of CBD, which I'm going to go into next, because as a consumer, you want to make sure that you get your hemp or CBD oil from a legitimate source.
And there's various different grades, different types of, and that's something I witnessed. We talked about before the show, is like, it's crazy. You go down the street and vaping shops have it, suntan salons. Yeah, I'm waiting for the muffler shops to have them. So when you get your bill, you could have CBD oil to offset the bill that you get. But so it's, and that's interesting because it isn't licensed. That's why. But there is a certain type that does require a license, though, right?
That would be the medical marijuana.
Right.
Yeah, that's, of course, in the state of Indiana is not on board with that yet.
And there's a grade of the CBD oil as well that can't be sold outside of a pharmacy.
Yes, that's a pharmaceutical grade, but we'll get into that.
Right.
Basically, as a consumer, to be aware of what the types of CBD oil that are out there, you can basically classify them in 3 groups. There's a full spectrum CBD oil. Then they have something what they call a broad spectrum CBD oil, and then you will have the CBD isolate. And so these are the 3 classifications or types of CBD. Each of them are going to be different ways, and so before I get into each one of them, I kind of want to explain a little bit about what we call cannabinoids. So CBD, the chemical compound, is called a cannabinoid, and in the hemp plant there's about 115 known cannabinoids that can be present in the hemp plant. Are all of them going to be present? No, not all of them. It really depends on how they grow the hemp. What seeds they use, what strains they use. So based on that, you'll see different cannabinoids present. And each cannabinoid is going to have a different medicinal value, different benefit for your body. So let's talk about the full spectrum, which is what we sell there at Vyto's Pharmacy. The full spectrum basically means that the majority of the ingredient is going to be CBD, but it's going to have a combination of the other cannabinoids in there. Of course, everybody knows about THC, which is the second prominent chemical compound found in hemp and marijuana. THC, when you extract it from marijuana or smoke it, that's what gives you the psychoactive high. Whereas CBD will absolutely not give you a psychoactive high. So a full spectrum has a majority of the portion comes from the CBD. By law, according to the 2014 Farm Bill Act, they only allow the THC portion to be 0.3% based on dry weight. So you have CBD in a full spectrum, you have a little bit of a minute amount of the THC, and then you're going to have other chemical compounds like CBN, CBG, CBC. Those are all different, and the more you find in there in your CBD oil, the better they're going to work together.
So the key thing is, with that small amount of THC, there's really, with the appropriate amount, there's really no way of getting high taking CBD oil.
Exactly, absolutely.
So that's the key thing. One of the reasons why it's legal in the form that it's in is because it doesn't. You can take it and get behind the wheel of a car, but it does have some medicinal effects.
Absolutely.
And that you'll get into.
We'll get into it later. Yep. You would have.
Can I ask you this, though, Ash?
Sure.
As somebody who, I'm not a user of marijuana or any of these products, why has it become so popular now? And in terms of medicinal uses, is it a better alternative than some of the, say, other synthetic drugs you see on the market?
Yeah, so with a lot of these pharmaceutical synthetic drugs that are used for pain management, like the Vicodins and the gabapentins and so forth, because they're synthetic, there are going to be side effects, right? Whereas now, the reason why people are shifting towards CBD versus that is because CBD is an all-natural component with no side effects known to cause any side effects.
And is it less habit forming?
Absolutely, yeah. Because the opioids have an addiction side to it, where it binds to the receptors, and you actually can get addicted to the pharmaceutical opioids. Whereas this is non-habit forming. Yeah.
In terms of cost, how does it compare?
In terms of cost?
Yeah.
Well, right now it's hard to say compared with pharmaceutical opioids because the insurance companies doesn't cover that right now.
Okay.
At this moment, it's classified as an over-the-counter medication, just as if you go into a Vyto's or any pharmacy and you buy Tylenol.
I would say the only effect that I've experienced, and I'm a CBD user, is when I don't take it, my partner lets me know that she knows I'm not taking it, and she pretty much says I'm an asshole. No doubt.
You don't have to bleep that out here?
No. Because this isn't going up. You have to worry about the FCC. I don't.
Yeah.
That's why we can have beer.
Yeah. This is the reason why I'm on this show, for the free beer. With coffee, that's dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, Mike says he doesn't get this anywhere else except on the Bill and Kelly show, right? Yeah. So all you other on-air personalities, hey.
Morning James right here. Delicious.
Yeah. Anytime we need someone to fill in for us, Yeah. Larry Potash from WGN. Larry, you're more than welcome to fill in for us next week. I'm not sure his contract will allow that, but what the heck.
Hey, why not?
Yeah, you get beer, pal. So where were we now? All that silliness.
So we talked a little bit about the difference between hemp and marijuana. Basically what it comes down to is that industrial hemp, where they derive CBD from, has high concentrations of CBD, whereas marijuana has high concentrations of THC. Now, prior to 1937, they didn't even call it marijuana. Marijuana is a xenophobic term that they used back in the 70s to make hemp or cannabis illegal. So, but that's what the difference is mainly.
It's a terminology.
It is a terminology. They also look very different as well. Hemp, in its natural state, grows about 20 to 30 feet tall.
We're going to just let our listeners know, and they'll probably be seeing this with episodes redundant, me telling them, but we'll be putting some graphics up while you're talking about this, so go right ahead.
So hemp naturally grows 20, 30 feet tall, and hemp has been around for thousands of years. They used it for all kinds of purposes. Even up to our founding fathers of this country used to grow hemp. But of course they used to grow the hemp because the stalk is very fibrous. And so they used that stalk to make paper, ropes, clothing out of it. As a matter of fact, the Declaration of Independence is written on hemp paper. So, yeah. And
but don't smoke it if you come across it.
No,
that's why the famous line from the play what's the play?
Hamilton?
Yes, Hamilton. I want to be in that room. They knew there's some hemp in there. That's what it was.
Yeah, that's what it was.
So
yeah.
And then of course marijuana grows only 2-3 feet tall. It's very bushy, and in the flower part, that's where the concentration of THC is. So that's where you experience the psychoactive high, because the THC is a really high concentration, up to 40-50% of it.
Is hemp native to North America, or
It's actually worldwide.
Worldwide.
It started off in the China and Australia, in that region, and kind of migrated all over.
So marijuana is native pretty much to Mexico.
Maybe, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was up until 1937. We had two guys, Perry Anslinger and Andrew Mellon. They were billionaires, and they were in the timber industry. And so what happened is they felt that hemp was a threat to their livelihood or to their business, and they hired this guy, and he went in front of Congress and started a propaganda scheme. They even made a movie called Reefer Madness.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure you guys seen that, clips of that, and that's how cannabis became illegal.
Interesting. So let's talk about some of the. Maybe I'm jumping ahead. Will you let me know? What about some of the medicinal things that people are experiencing out there?
So CBD, the way it works.
And don't let me jump you ahead.
No, it's okay. CBD, the way it works is it works with your system that you have inside your body. It's called the endocannabinoid system. And the endocannabinoid system is made up out of receptors. You probably know that, right?
Right.
There are two types of receptors. There's CB1 and CB2. And CB1 receptors are predominantly in your spine and in your brain, whereas CB2 is located all throughout your body, through your organs, soft tissues, lymph nodes, and so forth. So the way when you ingest CBD, it travels in your bloodstream, it binds to those receptors, and from there it activates that endocannabinoid system. The reason why that's so important is because your endocannabinoid system regulates everything in your body. So your endocannabinoid system regulates pretty much all your 13 systems you have. Your skeletal system, your muscular system, your cardiovascular system, your central nervous system, your respiratory system, reproductive system, endocrine, and so forth and so forth. That's why CBD is good for a variety of things, from anywhere from anxiety to pain to insomnia and everything else.
Blood pressure?
Blood pressure. Yeah. Again, that affects your cardiovascular.
So let me ask you this though: do you have to continuously take it to battle things like insomnia or pain, or is it like an aspirin? You take it when you need it?
No, consistency is the key here, just like medications, because it comes back down to the receptors. When CBD binds to those receptors, generally they last about, the half-life of it is 12 to 24 hours, and then the receptors are gone again. So that's why you consistently take it every day.
Every day.
So it's constantly in your stream, affecting that.
Exactly. So your ECS system constantly active, and the more you stay on it, the more sensitive your receptors become, the more benefits you will see from the CBD oil.
So basically, in my case, I become more aware that I'm an asshole.
Yeah, pretty
so
much.
I then can kind of keep that down.
When you say asshole, you probably mean that your anxiety levels go up again.
That's exactly what's happening.
Instead of like you being mellow and relaxed.
Are you more crabby or like irritated? Or?
I wouldn't call it crabby. I just call OCD type of, I kind of get upset by things that I really should just blow off. And that is one of the major effects that when I've talked to counselors, they've said that people, and they can't prescribe it or even suggest it, but they can mildly suggest that this could be an option, and they've seen benefits in their clients.
Sure.
And then specifically anxiety, depression. Those two are coupled, and
absolutely.
so. But So I go on and some of the other things that I like the help. One thing I notice though, is when I work out, when I'm on this, I notice I'm more focused, and I'm less likely to say, oh, screw it, I'm gonna, and so and this is something that people won't understand because when they try to, again, wrap that whole hemp and marijuana thing, oh, this is going to make you, no. It has, it's kind of like an enlightening effect.
It is, yeah.
And so I've noticed that specifically when I work out, I'm less likely to say, oh, screw it, I'm not going to do that additional thing or go under. I feel more energized and more aware of what I need to do, or more aware of what my body is doing and how to react. So
CBD oil affects each person differently. There's going to be instances where, it's, like you said, for you it might give you energy. For him it might relax him a little bit, And there's
I need relaxing.
Yeah,
so
and
I need some.
There's some people it's not going to do
especially
anything
when your editor calls and say, hey, Mike, we want you to.
Yeah. Here's a list of a few things that CBD is really good for, and I've seen over the year that all these different people come in for. A lot of people come in. The majority of people that come in suffer some kind of pain. So it's excellent for pain management, whether it stems from like any kind of arthritic pain, like rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis, inflammation of the joints, gout, anything like that.
PTSD.
Yeah. So any kind of mental issues like PTSD, ADD, ADHD, anxiety, depression, it definitely helps with that.
I see your list though also has mad cow disease. Who's getting mad cow disease?
I'm
Drinking too much mad cow here. That's what. No.
Yeah, but there's a lot of things that it helps with.
So I mean, and this isn't by any means a silver bullet.
No,
it is, although a benefit.
It is a benefit. You cannot make claims that it cures everything. CBD does not cure anything. Again, it works with your body naturally. One of the things when it happens is like everything goes back to those receptors. Once your endocannabinoid system is active, it allows a two-way communication between the rest of your body and your brain, because it allows the neurotransmitters to fire between your synaptic and presynaptic receptor endings. And what happens is you achieve something called homeostasis, where you have internal balance in your body. Once you achieve homeostasis, your body can now help and recover itself naturally.
Well, I'll give you another instance, maybe our listeners an example, for me at least. I've had sleep problems. When I'm on this regularly, not so much. And now, what I used to counter sleep problems for is Tylenol PM. And with that, it was always a slippery slope, because if you took it at the wrong time, first of all, it worked. I'm not, Tylenol PM works, but you end up with this groggy feeling when you wake up from it. And, with this, it's more refreshing. You feel like you've gotten a good sleep. But I tell you, there'd be nights when I'd be up 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, wide awake. When I'm on a regular regimen of this, it's like by 8:30, 10. Yeah. In fact, Kelly, it's kind of a counterweight, because that's the other thing, Kelly. I'm bringing up some laundry here, honey. Sorry. Kelly gets upset about because I do fall asleep earlier when I'm on this. So she'll want me to see a movie, and she's so adamant about me watching a movie that she wants to watch. And if I fall asleep,
and I've been a CBD user myself for a very long time now. And like you said, I experience sometimes when I take CBD and something comes to my mind where I focus on a task at hand, it's really get like tunnel vision. You really want to get that task done, no matter how you get it done. I also experience with CBD enhanced sensation. For example, my vision improves a lot. When I'm watching TV, I can hear every crisp, clear, more vision, eyes, everything is just so much better. Even the taste, I feel like when I take CBD oil, my taste buds improve.
Right. Now,
Ash, so for someone like me who's never used it, how much do you take and when do you take it?
So there's really no guideline right now because it's over-the-counter medication, right? You can pump in 10 Tylenols and nothing's going to happen, right? Same thing, same principle here. We always recommend to start off at a low dose, kind of get your body acclimated to the CBD oil to see how it reacts to it. Once you do that for the first week, then we can titrate the strength up. And everybody's going to be different, based on how many receptors you have, how sensitive they are, weight, genetics, a lot of different factors. But usually, it varies, and you got to find that perfect dose that works for you, right? So I started off at 20 milligrams. Now I'm in the range between 35 and 40.
But let's say you're taking other medications, can you mix that with if you prescribe other medications?
Yeah, we do give consultations at the pharmacy that we tell them, you bring your list of medications, and then I can tell you if it interacts with the medication so it doesn't. For the most part, you can take it with other medications together, or sometimes people separate them between 2-3 hours. There are two types of candidates that shouldn't take CBD oil, and particularly if you're on blood thinners. So if you're on any blood thinners like Xarelto, warfarin, Coumadin, Eliquis, basically when it comes down to that, CBD together with those inhibits like the breakdown or the metabolization of an enzyme that usually breaks down your medication. So your medicine kind of has to wait in line for that CBD to go away.
Kind of like an anti-amino acid.
Right. Exactly.
Which a lot of people need to have more effective breakdown of medication. That's usually what they suggest.
Yeah, so when your doctor says don't take any grapefruit products, that's kind of the same principle.
Right. So it's interesting to know. And that's one advantage, I guess, of looking at the pharmaceutical grade of this and coming into a pharmacy is you do have the consultation there. And that's one thing I will tell you about Vyto's, not to do a commercial for Vyto's, but every time I'm in there, they always do a very good explanation of each type of grade. So I feel like I'm almost becoming an expert every time I come in there.
Yeah, you can take over for me pretty soon.
No. Oh, that'd be serious trouble. No, but and that's one thing people got to be conscious of. Like you said, if you're on a blood thinner, if you go into the muffler shop and see the CDB over there and say, "Hey, give me some of that," the guy that's going to be putting your muffler on isn't going to know what medicine. So, and that's something I guess in the cautionary tale in this is that you do have to be cautious in somewhat, and it's good to go to a place like Vyto's to get consultation and make sure you're not.
Ash, you're talking about back in the 60s or 70s, with things like propaganda stuff that came out against marijuana to get people scared, but we're seeing in the headlines today. I mean, the opioid manufacturers are doing their own sort of scare tactics, but you're seeing stories coming out that some of these companies knew how powerful their opioids were. Purdue Pharma is in the news a lot, and
Merck, Lilly, they all knew.
People are getting really scared over using opioids. I mean, especially if you're in pain, if you just came out of an operation or whatever, you almost got to wonder, should I just deal with the pain and not take these opioids? Because it's like a double-edged sword.
And now you are going to be doing actually a seminar on the 21st on the whole thing.
Yeah, so I'm a guest speaker then, because what I'll be discussing in detail is the connection with opioid addiction and CBD, how CBD can help with that, not only from the withdrawal side, but from the efficacy, like how you can take it together and kind of wean off those opioids. A lot of people, and then these are true testimonials, people that started buying CBD from us, they come back now, instead of taking 3 gabapentins a day, they're down to 1. Instead of taking 6 Vicodins, now they're down to 3. So, and that's what I'm going to address the issues on March 21st. It's an opioid awareness seminar. It's in Ivy Tech in Valparaiso from 9 to 12.
And is that being put on by the
this is put on by my friend Brandy.
Okay.
She is an Ivy Tech lifestyle coach.
Right.
So she's doing that.
So that's we'll get that up on our Facebook page.
Okay,
so
that
know
would be
about
great.
it. And we're going to be out of town, unfortunately, or else we'd be there. But it's So if you want to know more information, and because a lot of it, quite honestly, we have to abbreviate here. But more information, March 21st at 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Ivy Tech in Valparaiso, and you'll be a speaker there.
I'll be a guest speaker. I'm also going to do a few seminars coming up at the end of March. Is my first seminar. It's going to be in downtown Highland at the Greenwich Juice Bar Coffee Shop, which is right there on Highway Avenue. And I'm also going to do one on April 20th at Vyto's Pharmacy located on Kennedy Avenue. It's actually on 420.
Then you mentioned you're taking part in that health thing at Lincoln Center?
Yes, I also going to have a display table at the Lincoln Center on March 19th, which is a Tuesday at the Lincoln Center in Highland.
Well, and so if you want more information about CBD oils, and by all means, we hope to have Ash on again so we can delve into this deeper, because I think it's an important topic, and I think there's a lot of misinformation out there, and that's what you really got to delve in deep in something like this to understand what's going in your body and not listen to the rumors. Now, talking about things going in your body or not, whatnot. Now you're also a nutritional coach as well, a consultant. And so, one of the things that we're going through, and we've been going through this for ages, is fad diets. And people have been jumping on, trying to find the silver bullet to lose the weight, to make it look like you. He's a bodybuilder, by the way, if you haven't noticed. But anyway, look like, try to get at least fit. So talk to us about diets, and some of the fad diets. We talked about is it the intermittent
fasting? Yeah. So right now we've been going through cycles of different diets. A few years ago, the paleo diet was huge. Just like it came from like the paleo times where we as human beings used to pick our foods, nuts, seeds and stuff like that, and meat. Really didn't have any processed foods, and it's been proven that actually helps you to lose weight too. But more recently now, everybody's talking about the intermittent fasting diet or the ketogenic diet. So, and I help people kind of explain to them how diets work and what they do in your body and how it works with your body to lose fat.
Yeah, and that's one thing that, I hear nutritionists talk about all the time, some of these fad diets that kind of unbalance your metabolism and so on. So do you put on seminars that they can go to?
We do fun challenges where we do 30-day weight loss challenges to help people lose weight. We do seminars on sports nutrition. There's a lot of misconception, again, just like CBD, there's a lot of misconception about proteins, fibers, branched-chain amino acids, a lot of things that people take to supplement their diets with, And I always tell people, in order to have a successful weight loss plan, you need three things in order. The first thing, of course, is the majority is going to be the diet. You do need supplements, and that's what I do at the stores. I help people choose the right supplements. Diet, supplements, and what was the third one? See, I just went blank.
Attitude?
Got a little bit nervous. And of course, exercise. You can go to the gym and get on the treadmill for 10 hours, but if you just do a little breezy walk, you're just burning calories. You're not really focusing on the weight loss aspect, and that's what I do. So I do the diet, I do the supplements, and of course I show people how to work out properly.
And that's some of the misconceptions. People feel like they have to spend hours at the gym, and they can and not lose any weight. But if they're not doing the right things of balancing their diet, And that's one thing that has intrigued me about this intermediate fast is that some of the impacts it's had, and actually it is like age is old. It's kind of a more or less a religious-based fasting system that they discovered, so there's like two types. One I've tried is like the 16-8, and where you don't eat anything for 16 hours, and then, or no, is it the other way around? Is it 8 hours? I know it's the sleep cycle is when you don't eat.
Exactly.
It's 8 hours.
It
Okay.
varies, but the most popular one that I usually do is the 24-hour one. The whole concept behind it is during that time where you don't eat anything, you let your body reset itself. And so it helps to heal your body. You reset your immune system and everything, and that's why it's so successful.
So you don't eat anything for 24 hours? Yeah. Do you drink anything?
You can only drink water or maybe black coffee, but any kind of liquid stuff like beer or juices, those are going to have sugars, and of course everyone knows that sugars are simple carbohydrates, so that's going to throw your dieting off.
But that's during the fasting period.
During fasting,
but then there's a period where you can eat. But then, okay, so let's make sure I got this right. So the 16-8 is you fast for 16.
And then there's a time frame for 8 hours where you can, from like 2 to 6 or 2 to 8, where you can actually eat food.
All right. But during that period of time, you can't go hog wild. I mean,
of course.
All right. So, but
there's another diet called OMAD, 1 meal a day. So people again eat only 1 meal, but that's where they get all the calories. They have a food plate that maybe 2,000-3,000 calories.
Yeah.
And that's
when you said beer, you could tell the assholeness of Bill was coming out.
I saw that.
You better have some CBD oil on you right now. So
yeah, I mean, do you have any on you? We better put some in.
Put some in there, yeah.
No, that's kind of an opposite effect. It's kind of like an alternate personality of mine that comes out. It's kind of like the mask. Wear the mask. So somebody stop me. One of the things that I found, I read about these diets, is they're finding these restrictive diets where you actually restrict your intake. Some of the societies that, because of religious or social requirements require fasting, these people are living into their hundreds. And so they're finding through studies that anyone that does this fasting, whether it be the 24 or whatever, statistically they're living longer, and they're staying younger. So that is kind of an interesting thing, because there's so many nutritionists that are saying no, that's bad. It's not a balance, but yet statistics are not showing that. It's showing that there are some very good benefits.
Yeah, from the religious perspective, it definitely makes sense, because if you want to talk about it's going to get into religion, the way God made the human body, it wasn't designed to constantly eat, right? You got to give your body rest, and that's what the whole concept is. When you let your body rest, it can heal, and that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Well, back in the day, come on, most people were either out hunting or doing some activity. If you didn't hunt or do something, you didn't eat.
Exactly.
Right.
So now that we got it so easy, we're on the couch, we get it delivered now, just on an app.
So this whole model of having to have 3 meals a day is kind of be throwing out the window.
Yeah.
And it's really not, you always, and a lot of nutritionists, they're fighting it. No, you got to have 3 square meals a day, but the statistics and the evidence is not showing that. In fact, it's just the opposite.
That's true.
That's kind of interesting, and some things that you go over in some of your sessions, so that'd be great.
And all 3 religions emphasize on fasting. Christianity, Judaism, and Muslims, all alike, going to fast. I mean, we have Lent, and then we have Ramadan, so they all have the whole process. They understand what it is.
I gave up beer for Lent.
You failed miserably.
Sorry about that.
Well, this has been informative. This has been great. We appreciate you coming on, and we hope to have you on again.
Absolutely.
And,
Yeah.
maybe at SIP. And
When you have more time, I can go more into detail.
it's probably more appropriate to have a place at SIP where, it's kind of difficult to talk healthy when you have a beer in front of you.
Exactly. Yeah, makes sense.
But it's the way we roll on the Bill and Kelly Show.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, we talk about healthy diets in front of a beer and plenty of other bad stuff for you. So, wow, that's, listen, we appreciate you coming on, Ash. And again, don't forget, he'll be at the dates here again in March 21st.
March 21st at Ivy Tech in Valparaiso from 9 a.m. till 12 p.m. And then March 23rd in downtown Highland at the Greenwich Juice Bar. And that's going to be at 3 p.m. I'm going to have a seminar. They're going to have a grand reopening. My friend Virginia is the owner of that place, and they're going to restructure everything. They're going to have new juices. They're going to have new everything. So it's going to be open. We're going to have guest speaker seminars. We're going to have samples. So everybody should come out and see her. That's going to be on March 23rd. And then again on April 20th, I'm going to have a seminar at Vyto's on Kennedy Avenue in Highland, Indiana.
And by all means, if you have a question about CBD oil, go into Vyto's. I know they do a great job, more so than any others. And it seems like every pharmacist there is very informed about
They are.
and they'll help you out. So with that, we will wish you all a great day. Again, Kelly and I are going to be in Chicago tomorrow, so we won't be doing a show tomorrow. We'll be at the Peninsula Hotel at, get this, a fashion show.
Oh.
I know, you're shocked, right, Mike?
Nice.
What? What?
To see some supermodels.
Yeah, we're actually going to be doing like a red carpet interview. So we're going to be like Billy Bush and whoever used to do those red carpet. No, not Billy Bush. That's a bad example, I guess. But yeah, we're going to be interviewing celebrities as they come in.
Are there going to be celebrities?
Oh yeah.
Celebrities?
Oh yeah. This is hey, we're not talking blue overalls here, pal. We're talking like.
We're going to be decked out.
Well, actually, it's called. We're actually gonna. They say. It's kind of like dress casual, but it is going to be a high-end fashion show. I mean, some of these fashions go like 8,000 to 10,000, and some of the celebrities that wear them will be there. So I think one of the nighttime anchor from WGN, what's her name? She wears Mark Roscoe's and some of the others. So we're going to feel a lot of sorts, but we'll make it through okay. So that's what we're doing tomorrow, and won't have a show tomorrow. So have a great rest of the week and weekend, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.